Yay, we're live. Hello, everyone. I really felt like I wanted to do this outside because it's so nice out. It's so beautiful. I just wanted to, I wanted that to be part of the energy. Um, so, that said, it might be a little bit, hopefully, it's not too, loud because, I'm in the city. So, there's cars and people and wind and all that. But I don't know. I think it should be fine. Hello, Johnny. What's up? What's up, everyone? Oh my God, it feels so good to be here. I haven't been here in a while, or at least it feels like a while. It's been, I don't know, a week or two. And sometimes it just flows like that for me. I don't know why, but when I when I'm gone for a while, I feel like I come back with so much to share, and I have so much to share today that I'm really excited. Um, I have a list of things, but I'm also gonna just kind of flow and see what wants to come up now. But just taking a second of love and gratitude. I'm on like a really high vibe right now. So I wanted to share that too, share those codes. I feel like I just got so reborn. I got so rebirthed. I mean, I actually kept having this imagery come up in my third eye of like I felt like I was like hatching from a dragon egg or something. Um, but also not only that, but and then also really like feeling like I shed my skin. I recently went on a trip to North Carolina to hang out with Bianca, and it was like I feel like I literally that symbolism feels so strong of like coming out of the chrysalis and shedding my skin. And it is the year of the snake, so I don't know. Maybe that's just like not to sound crazy. I don't know. I'm just flowing. I'm just having fun, but it's like maybe it's that inner reptilian. I'm just kidding. I don't. People are gonna take that and run with it, but no sound. Are you kidding? Can you hear me? But it's the year of the snake. Anyways, I just feel like I'm shedding something. And I'm also been really tapping into my root chakra, which is sort of those more primal energies. And can you guys hear me? Please let me know. I'll be so sad if you can't. That means I just have to go inside after all. Okay. I know it's probably not the best quality of audio, but as long as you guys can get the message. Okay, sweet. Thank you. But I've been really tuning in, like, to the root chakra, and a lot of times we go through a lot of things together, so I want to share that because maybe it's really helpful for you. And I feel like maybe that it's like that for a lot of spiritual people, is like we get really developed in our higher chakras, so it's like we're having these mystical thoughts and experiences and feelings very easily, but sometimes maybe we're not always totally. I'm sorry you can't hear me. That's so weird. But sometimes we're not so totally tapped into our lower chakras. Um, can you guys hear me? I might just have to go inside. And somebody let me know if it's just their audio or if it's my mic. All right. Well, we're just gonna roll with it. But please let me know if you can't hear me because I'm flowing right now and I definitely want to share. Um, okay, cool. Thanks. But yeah, sometimes I feel like it's possible that we're more active in our higher chakras. We forget to be. It's just as important to be active in your lower chakras. Um, just parts of our different parts of ourselves. And your root chakra, this was a huge lesson for me recently. Like I feel like I had a huge like root chakra healing, and not just root chakra, but really the lower three chakras, because I feel like I'm definitely one of those people that I'm very much sort of in this higher blissful realms, but when it comes to this reality, I haven't been totally like locked in. And it's all divine timing. Like it's all beautiful. It's literally perfect timing. It's amazing how that is. Um, but yeah, with the root chakra, not only that, it's like it's all symbolic and connected because it's like it's your roots, it's your foundation. That's really been something I feel like I've healed a lot recently, is like the base. It's the base. It's so, every part of your energetic body is important. Obviously, they are all just as important, but if your root chakra isn't solid, it's going to mess with everything because it's your foundation, it's your root. And really, what's um, what it is your ability to feel safe, you know, feel safe in your body. And it might seem simple because it is the root chakra, the base. It is simple. It's very simple, but it's very important because, again, it's the foundation. It's what's keeping everything up. So you can have issues with, expressing yourself or thinking clearly or loving or forgiving or being in your power. Like, all these issues can sometimes just be because your roots, your foundation isn't strong, which is, again, feeling safe and starting to kind of retrain yourself into remembering and knowing and holding that energy of I am safe in anything. That was another thing that came through. I was kind of having this revelation is um, being able to feel safe in duality. We live in this dualistic realm, and I think it's like a huge level up when you realize and you start practicing feeling safe in those opposites. Letting yourself feel safe in extreme joy and love, new levels of joy and love. Also letting yourself feel safe in despair, in fear, in anger. Letting yourself feel safe in, you know, maybe there's something you really want, feeling safe to have that thing, also feeling safe to not have that thing. And there's something about holding these opposites that just like will propel you. It's really amazing. And I think it is a lot to do with the root. And I don't know why, but I'm feeling called to share this as well. Um, with these lower chakras, like I felt this, like, just feeling safe, reminding myself that I'm safe with all of this, and really taking care of that foundation, that it's like a primal energy, and it's also like an ancient energy. It's really interesting. It's sort of like the tree of life, as above, so below. So it's really important to take care of, your lower chakras as well. They're just as important. And again, it's like a tree. You want to have a strong base, strong roots. And it's not so much even being attached to anything, because that's something interesting about this spiritual journey, right? Is there's almost a groundlessness about the spiritual journey, especially when we're evolving. Um, But I think it's about finding that groundedness within you, within God, within this time and space, whatever that is, whatever the time and space is, whatever the present moment is like having really strong roots in that. Because then, just like a tree with strong roots, the wind can come, the weather comes, the circumstances come, things arise. It might be sometimes very powerful, intense, but if you're grounded, you feel that, you move with it, but you don't get uprooted. You don't totally lose you're still connected. And again, it's not so much something like a concept or these attachments that you're grounded into, because those are shallow roots. You got to have your roots in something real, in something firm and fertile, um, which is God, whatever that means to you. It's that. It's what it is, being grounded in that, being grounded in yourself, because there's no separation between you and God. So there's also a deep self-love. That's something else I've been feeling on new levels that's been so amazing. And I really, really encourage it to just love yourself even more. It might even seem almost like, I don't know if narcissistic is the word, because a lot of people, especially people who are very lacking in identity, I'm speaking from experience in a way, like people who are they're so in these spiritual realms that they're not really solid in their self, in this avatar. It's very important, to have this balanced life. We came to earth, we have a body, we will return to bodiless form, at some point, if that's what you want. But you came here to be in this avatar, you got to take care of the avatar. It's a huge thing I've been really feeling and learning, and I'm so excited to share that as well. But just to conclude that thought, what was I concluding? Being grounded in what's real. trusting yourself, trusting God. We're kind of developing a new relationship with life itself. I'm going to talk about that as well. But it'll come back to me. I was finishing a thought, and now that happens sometimes when you're sort of just channeling from the heart. Oh yeah, with the chakras, being rooted, feeling safe, feeling safe, feeling safe, feeling safe in yourself. It's so essential, because that's the thing, is like, it sounds so simple. It's so simple that we can just sort of be like whatever about it, but no, really, if you don't feel safe, honestly, in whatever you're doing, if you don't feel safe eating something, if you don't feel safe, you know what I mean? It's like, if you don't, it's gonna kind of, the foundation isn't strong. It's a totally different experience. And then kind of coming up the spine in that way. And again, this is literal, and it's also symbolic. The sacral chakra, that's your raw power. That's like your raw creative force. It's so potent. And again, it's still holding that kind of more primal, primitive energy. But that's not a bad thing. It's all connected. And then going up into your solar plexus in your stomach, that's your power center. That's your will. And that's another thing, is, this is a side note, but this is a really important, high key, this is important, is your decision making, how you're making decisions. I've been really seeing that making decisions, making quick decisions, making big decisions, when you're actively creating something in your life, whatever it is, you really have to have the skill. And it's, maybe some people have a natural talent for this, but for many of us, we have to practice and learn how to make big decisions quickly and commit, not only for your own mindset, but because this is a huge part of like the creation of realities. Like, you are choosing. Often we don't realize it, and I think that's a part of awakening, is realizing more and more. As the veil lifts, you start to realize more and more, I'm choosing this, I'm choosing this, I'm choosing this. Oh, all this suffering, all this density, why am I choosing this? All like this stuff that's hurting me and holding me back. Why am I choosing this? Why am I choosing to be a victim? And it just kind of happens naturally. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because when you are creating something, so here's something really, I'm going to share this too. I have so much to share, you guys. I'm going to try to pack it all in this video, but I'll probably have to make more just to cover all of this deeper. And if I say anything you want me to go deeper in now or in the future, just like comment and let me know, because I'll be happy to elaborate more. My cat is coming. Hi, buddy. Hello. He wants to say hi. He wants to give his divine feline codes. Hi, buddy. He loves outside so much. What? You want to say hi? Hi. Okay. Sorry, that did distract me a little bit. He just wants to deliver his message. Ooh. Hi, sweetie. Choices, decisions. That's right. Okay. This is really what I want to say about that. I've been really practicing more and more. I've been practicing this for a while now, but I feel like I'm reaching new levels with knowing and claiming that everything is working out for the best case scenario for me, no matter what's happening. So much. This is such a life-changing thing, and it's really developing a new relationship with life that is available to us now, and it involves it really does involve being very brave, being a pioneer, and being willing to believe in things that maybe you've never seen before, or maybe you've only seen a little bit of it before. Developing a new relationship with life, because human consciousness is evolving at a rapid rate, and so there's things available to us now that weren't available to us years ago. There's things available to us now that wasn't available to our ancestors. And it's a lot of love and respect for our ancestors, no matter what, because even though they probably lived in a lot more density than we live in now, or than we have to live in now, that in a way, it makes me get goosebumps. That was the torch they carried. I don't know if I want to say sacrifice, because I don't really know. I don't know if that's the word, but in a way, it was. It was the sacrifice they made. It was the burden they carried for us to have a better life. So we have more opportunities, you know, um, in how we can live and how we can be and how much vitality we can have. That was a huge thing I got. It's like we don't have to age like that either. You know, we don't have to really age like people have so much in the past. And you can even anti-age. And I'm going to get into that in a second because that's super cool. But the reason I'm talking about the choices is because that's a big way of how we create, is we choose. So with what I'm saying, with I'm choosing that everything is working out in my best case scenario always, even if something's falling apart, even if I'm feeling upset and triggered, even if, you know, this is just part of life, is things sometimes break down, things fall apart, whether it's something in your circumstances or whether it's a paradigm in your own mind. And so in those moments, those are the most powerful moments. You know, those moments when you feel like you're absolutely stretched farther than you thought you could be stretched, and it feels like everything's going wrong, and it feels like maybe, sorry, it's loud. It feels like you're being punished. See, that's the old relationship with life that I'm saying we can evolve now, that I'm learning through my own experience. And, you know, deep down, I think we all know, is that we don't have to, it's like there's a part of our ego, for whatever reason, when things like that happen, that want to kick in and say, oh, life is about to hurt me. Like life is malevolent. There's like a deep belief, I think, that many of us have been carrying, that life is malevolent, life is going to hurt you, life is working against you. And that is a very deep, inverted program, my friends. I'm telling you, it really is. It really, truly is. That want to worship the fear, to worship the suffering, to worship the limitations. We have to come out of that, you know, if this is your calling. I say we, you know, I'm not telling you what to do, but for me, myself, I know I have to come out of that, because that's why I'm here. And it's not easy, but it can be done. And it is happening, and it continues to expand and evolve. That's the real evolution. It's amazing. So kind of like having this new relationship with life, where you can trust life, where you can receive life, you can receive the blessings of life, even when it seems like things are falling apart. The thing that's so powerful about choosing, practicing to choose that everything is working out best case scenario for you, even if, you know, again, it feels bad, it feels wrong, it feels scary, or it's triggering your nervous system. See, this is what's so powerful about it, is you're choosing that everything is working out in your best case scenario. So one, it's kind of like double-sided, because one, you're claiming that, you're making that decision. And in the beginning, all you really truly need is the faith of a mustard seed. Even just a little bit of room for God to come in, you know, because it is a practice. It's sort of something we're actually, you know, in a way, very much reprogramming our minds. It's the revolution in the mind. That's why I called this. That's what we're doing. That's the real revolution. You're making that choice to believe that everything is working out for you, and you're claiming it. You're opening it. You're opening it for God to work. I hope this is making sense, because this is so real. It's been such an amazing experience in my life. And it just sort of keeps, it's like your experience of that will become exponential. It's like everything is working out for me, best case scenario. And to the ego mind that's hurting and traumatized and wants to think life is going to hurt you, that life isn't safe, again, back to the root chakra, safety, feeling safe, that part of you is going to be like, no, you can't trust life. This is bad. This is wrong. This is, you know, something really bad happening. Like things aren't going to work out for me. I'm going to die. I'm going to be left to the wolves to die. Kind of energy. That's the ego, because that's how the ego keeps its whole paradigm alive, and that's why the ego is dissolves as you come more into your awakening naturally. If you can start incorporating that in your life, if you don't already, every single moment, no matter how mundane, no matter how good, no matter how bad, or whatever, anywhere in between, everything is working out for my best case scenario. Chant it to yourself, affirm it to yourself. Because again, it's both sided. It's like you're claiming it, you're making that choice, you're claiming it, and what's the other point of it? It's like you're allowing it. It's like it just makes the co-creation of this life between you and God within you. It builds that relationship back up, which is what we need, because we need God. And again, I don't mean God as a man in the sky. And we have to remember that too, because that religious programming is so deep. The God within you that is you, the light of the awareness inside of you, the Christ consciousness within us all, building your relationship back with that. And the way you do that is trusting where God is having you, trusting where you're having yourself, even if it doesn't always make sense. There's no mistakes in life. There are detours sometimes that we go on that maybe, weren't necessarily, but you know what? It still was for your best case scenario, because it wouldn't have happened if you didn't need to learn something from that experience, which is what this is all about. When you really start to remember and wake up, it's not personal. You can't mess it up. Everyone will return to God eventually, So making that choice. And another reason it's so important to make that choice, in choices in general, this is just one example, but any choice. And I've really been learning this a lot, because I'm by nature, I've always sort of been somebody who's like very indecisive, and I've really haven't been working on that. And because when you're indecisive, you go back and forth between choices. You're kind of sending, whether you mean to or not, mixed messages to like the quantum field, to yourself. You're sort of having an internal conflict, which is where a lot of suffering comes from, where you're not making a clear decision, you're not committing to a decision, so you're like, your feet are kind of in different like realms. And so in one way, this is why it's a practice. You might be thinking, okay, everything is working out for my best case scenario, but then you haven't fully committed to that. You're still entertaining these thoughts of, oh my God, but what if I'm ruined? Or what if it's not, what if it's bad? What if something's really, really wrong with me? What if, those what ifs. And it's okay if that's happening. Don't beat yourself up. It's just an awareness, because anything you shine your light of awareness on is going to shift. It might not always be instantaneously, but you cannot become aware of something without shifting it, because now you're seeing it. Now it's clear to you. So now the more you again practice it, it's almost inevitable, unless you purposely try to revert back. And even then, I don't know if you can. But maybe if you put your whole effort and will into reverting back, maybe. But as soon as you have an awareness of something, it's going to start to shift for you. So making that decision, practice making that decision. Again, I feel like I hit a new level with this. But when I first started, it was still shaky. It was like I was telling myself something higher is trying to happen. Again, thanks Kyle Cease for that. Something higher is trying to happen. My nervous system is really triggered. I'm really freaking out right now. I really don't know. But something higher is trying to happen. Let it happen. Let it fall apart. Let it fall apart. Trust what's happening. Trust it. Trust it. Send love to it. Put out the best intentions. That's what I was trying to say. You're putting out the best intentions. You're putting out the best intentions, and so the best intentions can start to happen for you. And again, it's sort of like a spiral. You just keep hitting the new levels. You start to hide into you go into higher ranks with it as you practice it. But you have to commit to it. So that was sort of the next level for me. Is I was saying, everything is working out best case scenario for me, and I would still sometimes, if I was really I guess desperate or feeling vulnerable, I was scared, really is the word, is scared. I would still entertain, oh, but no, but what if something's really wrong? Oh no, but I can't trust God, I can't trust life. No, something's really out to get me. Like, this is really not okay. Like, no, like, and now more and more, when I say everything's working out best case scenario for me, that is it. And when those thoughts come up, I'm like, lovingly, no, I'm not even doing that. I'm not even entertaining those ruminations, because those ruminations are, they're animated by you. This is so deep, and I don't think that you can bypass this. I think we all have to truly work in through this process at our own pace, and that's divine. But really starting to recognize these rabbit holes that we don't have to go down to, because that was another thing I wrote down about the dark illusions. When you're in dark illusions, the message that kind of came through was dark illusions matter and they don't. When you're entering those, what I mean by dark illusions is, just illusions that are really scary, illusions that make you feel really insecure, illusions that make you feel really, whatever it is, not good enough, not safe enough, not lovable enough, not loving enough, whatever. Those illusions that make you spiral into dense places. The reason they matter is because those are opportunities for you to see. Those are opportunity, things are being revealed to you. Those are the reason it matters, is those are literally the again, most fertile moments. Those are the moments when it matters the most, even though it feels like the worst moments. Those are actually the most important moments in a way, truly. When you start to, and remember that when they're happening, if you can remember that, those feelings aren't final. It's just something you're moving through. So it matters because those are the opportunities for you to evolve, and you are evolving not just yourself, you are evolving yourself, you are evolving your generation, you are evolving the collective, you are evolving your family line, you're evolving the people around you, because every single little, no matter how small or big those things are, it changes you, and it changes your aura, it changes the energy coming off of you. So it's serving you 100%, and it's serving everyone else 100% too. It's, and those things aren't even separate. We're not separate. So that's why they matter. They don't matter because they're illusions. And they don't matter because they're actually illusions. They are dead ends. Anything without love in it is a dead end. It's not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to take you down the same spiral. I'm not good enough. Why am I not good enough? I'm insecure. You can use that again to heal your mind and to bring new awareness in. And not only awareness, there's a part about it sometimes that's just inevitably painful, and that's okay. In a way, there is no coming into consciousness without pain. That's Carl Jung. And again, there's a difference between pain and suffering. It doesn't have to be this horrible suffering thing, but it's almost like the pain of growing. It's not that bad. The pain of growing is better than the pain of being stagnant, in my opinion. It's just a challenge. It's literally has to stretch you, because that's the expansion, that is the evolution, and that breakdown is going to birth a breakthrough. So even in those moments when you feel like you're at your lowest, are going to bring you into your highest. And that's again the safety, and feeling safe in that duality, feeling safe in the opposites, because we exist in a dual realm at this point. And as we continue to evolve, we come more out of it, but it's like, if we're still going to have to navigate it. And it's not that duality is going to magically disappear while you're in this avatar. It's that you're going to get so good at navigating this duality, like Jesus Christ. You're going to get so good at navigating this duality. It's not going to be this crazy thing. You're going to be able to move through it with way more mastery, as you already have. Think about yourself now, and then think about yourself really probably just a couple months ago, but just to be extreme, think about yourself probably a few years ago, and think about how far you've come. Really think about how far you've come. There's probably so many things that maybe used to bother you or eat you up inside that no longer have that effect on you anymore. It's important to celebrate that. That's a side note as well. It's important to celebrate yourself. I celebrate myself more than I ever celebrated myself. If you don't celebrate yourself, who's going to celebrate you? We're supposed to celebrate ourselves and celebrate each other. It's part of being grateful. It's part of enjoying life. It's just part of being thankful for everything, and being abundant is that celebration energy. And again, that might not be something that comes to you naturally. I think it does come to us naturally, but it's like as kids, because kids are like that, right? But there's this world, and I think that's what causes so much of this sickness, physical sickness and mental sickness, is as we go through this society, through this world, through these systems, sometimes it beats the child out of us. It beats our sparkle out of us. It beats it beats that direct connection to the joy of life out of us. And so that's something that is very, very important, that you want to really connect to and protect that part of you. Protect that part of you. Love that part of you. Nurture that part of you as if it were that child in you, because that's like your soul. And that was one of the things I've been realizing about. I think I covered everything there because I'm about to take this in a whole new direction. But it's amazing how it's all connected and it just flows, isn't it? I don't think about it. It just comes through, it's so amazing. We all have this ability to just channel, just channel from our spirit. And that is also just a muscle and a practice. But yeah, I'm going to take it into the next direction. Thank you so much all for being here, by the way. Hello, hello, hello. Sometimes being stagnant is part of growing. Absolutely, it is. I just experienced that. I felt like I was in this I was in the beginning. I was talking about how I felt like I was in a chrysalis. I had all this like symbolism come through, like I was in a chrysalis, or I was hatching from an egg, or I was like shedding my skin, and it was like that stagnancy. I don't know. That's the way that it kind of felt like. Is there's like this stagnancy that was like building all this pressure until finally it was like rebirth. So it is all divine. It's all beautiful. You feel safe in that stagnancy. Feel safe in that expansion and that growth. So, yeah. Okay. So the next one's really exciting too. Is I just want to talk about and share a little bit about this other message that came through to me hardcore as I was rebirthing. Is that I mentioned it a little bit in the beginning. It's sort of like I'm just going to be really, really, really honest. Is that I don't even want to say believe. It feels bold to say I know, but I know that we have the ability to be superhuman. More so than we probably think. And I was saying in the beginning, where we are now, the opportunities we have now as human beings, we don't have to be limited to the past and to, our parents or our ancestors. So much love and honor to them because they carried that torch. They did that dense work so that we could be here now. So much love and respect. Isn't that so divine? And in the same way, we're dealing with density that hopefully, future generations won't have to deal with this density. Even so. But I was just thinking about aging. And, obviously we live in this, time space reality. And in this dual fashion, time isn't real. We live in the eternal now. We know time isn't real. We are eternal souls. And we also live still to some degree in a linear timeline, where things happen in the linear time. But we don't have to age like how people aged in the past. This is really exciting. And in fact, we can actually age in reverse. So this is kind of just stuff I've been really feeling for a while regarding health and vitality. The reason so when I say age, it's not that we don't get older or evolve, which is amazing. That's awesome, right? That we do that. But what I mean is decay. We don't have to decay. We don't have to degenerate like how people have degenerated in the past. This is so important. And God, I just feel my heart opening so much talking about this because, my heart really does go out so deeply to people who are in those realities of like extreme degeneration. So much love for that. And that's why we do what we do. It's not to invalidate them because when you're creating your reality, what's real for you is just real for you, you know? And that's why we have to be so careful with what we believe. I'm so careful. I try to be so careful with what I believe and the stories I tell myself anymore. So careful, because it's not idle. None of our beliefs are idle. They're all creating on some level. So, you know, a lot of so just to break it down real quickly, just to make it really clear, like a lot of the reasons why people decay and degenerate as they get older, it's, you know, it's a few reasons. The first one, I would say that, you know, is the biggest one, is people already have that belief through what they've seen, through what they've been told, through what they've learned, through their experience, because your, you know, experiences you have do create oftentimes how you see the world, and so how you experience life and reality as a whole. Um, so people already have this belief, this idea that, okay, I'm getting older, I'm decaying, I'm not as energetic, I'm not as youthful, I'm not as, you know, I'm getting old, I'm time to get sick and slow down and stop doing what I love, time to, you know, basically die, you know. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but for those of us who are here and we want to expand and see what's possible really for human beings at this point, um, that's a big reason, is people have that. And you can really see that, I feel like, in the generation that's older now. And I do believe that even they could totally age in reverse if they wanted to and made that choice and committed to it. But a lot of them really have that belief. They really have that belief. And so letting go of that belief. And there's something interesting too about that, because I know everyone listening here is probably like, yeah, of course. But some of this stuff, as you keep going, like even what I was saying earlier, like everything is working out my best case scenario. You know, we could be basically like superhumans in a way. There's an element to that creation, there's an element to manifestation where you have to stop trying to be so realistic. And what I mean by that is some people would think that's delusional. You know, people would be like, how could you possibly think that? You know, that's so crazy. Like, that's insane. Like, there's all this proof that says otherwise, like all this stuff. Being able to kind of cut that off, obviously to a degree that's safe. Like, you know, it's intuitive. It's following your intuition. It doesn't just come out of nowhere. It comes from someplace deep within you. These impulses to evolve and try something new and push past your limit, what you thought was a limit. There's an element of it that's like you kind of have to be willing to, in a way, it is. I don't know if delusional is the right word, but it fits. You know, you have to really be willing to be like, to go against the odds. And it shouldn't come as a surprise, because you can see anywhere, anyone who's done anything amazing had that inside of them. I'm sure they had so many people telling them, you can't do that. Like, what the heck? You're crazy. Anyone who's done something new and great and innovative and, you know, followed their soul to a really deep degree have done things that people before them thought were impossible. So you got to really, like, to me, I never really took on that belief, thankfully, that we have to age and decay and degenerate. But if you do have that belief, you know, that's something you can also just start to shift. So that's one reason. And then another reason people kind of degenerate as they get older, I think, is all of the stuff inside of them that has, like I was saying earlier, beaten the sparkle out of them, beaten the joy out of them. You know, stuff that's really, really damaged their heart, hurt them, made them bitter, made them depressed, made them victims, made them weak, in the sense that they've lost all their ambition, they've lost their drive. Even, it doesn't even have to be fully, but even just to little degrees. Holding on to resentment, holding on to fear, living out of hatred. Because I think as you get older, it's a blessing you have more experiences, right? But because of how it was in the past generation, they didn't have maybe one, again, I think it was their torch to carry, that they were just in that part of the evolution, right? And now we have access to all of these things, all these ways to heal yourself, all of these new paradigms, all of this new knowledge, all of this wisdom that wasn't accessible before. That's the beautiful side of the internet. So I think that's a big part of what has made people degenerate. They have all these experiences that have built up and they haven't processed them, and they've held on to all that basically kind of toxic energy in a way, because maybe they didn't have the skills or the willingness or the knowledge of how to heal that stuff, like we talk about on this channel, right? Learning how to heal your mind, to let go of these deep-seated things that keep you in boxes, that keep you disconnected from yourself, disconnected from God, disconnected from your brothers and sisters. So that's another big reason I think people decay, because you feel that stuff in your body. You feel that stuff in your body, and it does affect you. And then another reason is all of the stuff that we consume, and this is like sort of a topic on its own I want to share today. Maybe then that'll be solid for this video. It doesn't even feel like it's been 40 minutes. I'm so grateful. Thank you all so much. The food, the things you consume is not limited to food. The things you take in, the information you take in, the stories you take in, the environment that you're in, the relationships that you're choosing to have, everything you're taking in. And just for a second, I just want to talk about the food as well, because I think that's a big part of what started this rebirth for me. Is I had sort of like, I've always eaten pretty healthy, probably I could say, but I sort of fell into this thing. I had so much going on in my life that I kind of fell into this thing where I was just sort of eating the basic standard American diet, I guess, as they call it. Just not really thinking about it, like just like not really wanting to think about it, just sort of eating whatever. And I don't think that's a bad thing. We have such an interesting relationship with food, you guys. I think it's very nuanced, and I think it, what you need to eat is best for you. It really depends on a lot of different things, but I'm just going to share, an experience I had recently. So I was sort of eating whatever, and I sort of had this moment where I was just like, oh my God, like I have so much density in me right now because of the food. And for me, it's a lot. I'm a small girl, so like I don't eat a lot anyways, but I don't know. I was just realizing, so it's not like I was being super gluttonous even, but I was just eating sort of, again, that standard American diet. And I just kept feeling like I was never digesting my food. Like I just felt like my body was constantly working so hard just to digest this stuff. Just getting bloated a lot, like feeling that sort of brain foggy feeling. And just overall, like just feeling dense, like feeling heavy. And so funny, Google is hanging out with us. And so I got this like intuition to start fasting again, and it was so hard, which I used to fast often, but I don't know, I just fell into like this thing where, again, I was just eating like a really normal diet. And so fasting was like really the first fast I did again. It was so hard. I wasn't even like hungry. I just felt that feeling, when you're sort of detoxing the food, because the food is an addiction. It really is. And I finally pushed past it. And I fasted for like 3 days, just water. First day of just like liquid, and then I did like just like little tiny little bits of like fruit, like just really good raw fruit. And that's sort of been what I've been kind of aiming for. And I think everything's different, because there's been times where like I literally can't eat meat. I just can't. It's just absolutely no. And there's been times where I absolutely need meat. There's times where I'm like, I literally need this. So I think it's like we have to learn how to get back into tune with our body. That's just my experience. Everyone's different, but I just felt called to do that fast and just stick with like really raw fruits and veggies and herbs. I was doing these really amazing herbs and superfoods, like lots of these superfoods that are just like really awesome. And long story short, it changed me a lot. And it also, like, after that fast, like, I felt like myself again a lot. I felt like myself again. I felt like I had all this energy. People talk about that all the time, but just as a reminder, basically, I think what I'm trying to just share is just the importance of what you're eating. And, like, if you're thinking about this, if you're thinking about going on a fast for spiritual reasons alone, or any reason really, just to feel better physically, it's going to do all of that. I highly recommend it. It really, really put me in a much better energy where I just feel more alive. And as I keep doing it, I've stuck with it since then. This was like a few weeks ago. I just feel this energy of like I can heal anything. I really feel that. Like I feel so electric. I feel it's like instead of weighing myself down with the food, I feel like when I am eating, it's like really nourishing stuff that I love and makes me feel good. And that's it, and just cutting out all this other bullshit. And I've done that times in my life, but I don't know. It's just like really culminating and hitting different now. It's really amazing. So that's another way. That's another huge way of on the physical side, like becoming superhuman of what I'm sharing, because this food is aging people. This food is degenerating people. And I hate to say that, but that's really how the message wants to come through. It's just like coming into this higher consciousness, like all this food is literally, and I'm not obviously advocating for like starving yourself. Like I hope nobody's taking it that way. That's not it at all. There's a totally different energy between fasting and starving yourself. Starving yourself is like that has like a deprecating energy around it. But fasting, fasting for the right reasons, fasting because you want to be healthy and heal yourself, it's a totally different energy. And I don't starve myself, I don't recommend that at all. I don't think that's very nice to do to yourself. But sometimes, you have to have that discipline, and it's all just flow, finding your flow. But yeah, I can't emphasize that enough, and I'm still doing that. And it's just like all that food addiction stuff, it just sort of dissolved. Like I'm not feeling that at all. I don't want food that's going to dehydrate me and make me age and make me degenerate and make me sick, even if it's to a very subtle degree. Like I'm not like when it comes to food, some people have intense food sensitivities, and I can like discern a lot between what I eat, but I'm not super sensitive. But just because you might not be super sensitive to processed foods right now, it doesn't mean that it's not holding you back to more than you probably even think. So I just wanted to share that and recommend that as well. It's been really, really amazing just eating these like real living foods. And what else to say about that? I think it's it. So all of these things culminating, kind of just to conclude again, the overall point that I was making of like, we don't have to degenerate, we don't have to decay, but that's a choice to make. That is a choice to make. And it does sort of it takes commitment. It does take commitment to say, whether it's the mind and the mental stuff I was talking about, spiritually or physically, what you're consuming, what you're eating. Do you want to see what you're really capable of? Just want to make sure the music's not drowning out my voice. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like sharing that. I feel like that's important. It's really like I don't think eating this junk food, or not even junk food. Like I don't eat junk food, but even just like eating a lot of like bread, or even too much meat. Like I think like sometimes like people need to eat meat for what they need in their body, but like I don't know. For me, too much of that, it just changes. It does change based on what you need. But yeah, becoming superhuman. I 100% know that we can be superhuman, and that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm working on right now. It's really exciting. It's really exciting. And that's how I'm doing it. It's just continuing to heal, not just heal, but just evolve, expand, follow your intuition, do the things that you feel like you're supposed to do instead of um, making excuses for it. And we can be superhuman. We can heal anything. I want to make like a presentation or something at some point, just to like put it out there, all this stuff. And I'm sure many of you can relate, that I've learned over the years of how to heal yourself. I mean, I truly believe that we can heal anything. And I think to be able to heal anything, that is the first step, is you have to believe that you can. You have to believe that you can heal your body. Even if somebody told you you can't heal that, even if somebody has told you, who is this divine authority that's telling you this? The doctors? No dissing, I'm not dissing on them, but it's like, God can heal anything if you just have the faith of a mustard seed is all you need in the beginning. And then you can take that and run with it and build off of it. Another thing I'll share about that is and again, this is going to sound delusional to some people for sure, but it actually works. Someone mentioned the placebo effect. It is like that. Placebo, it's crazy how we have the placebo effect and people don't even like appreciate that. It's like you take a sugar pill and it heals you. You healed yourself. Okay? You healed. It's in the mind. We have the placebo effect. We can heal our mind, when we believe that we can, when we really believe in that. But that's another thing I do, is like if something comes up, if I get sick, no matter what it is, if I get sick or if I get a pain in my back or in my arm or something comes up, something arises like that. In the old paradigm, there's like this idea that something's wrong with me. It's like, oh, something's wrong with me. Oh, I better go to the doctor and listen to what they're going to tell me. Or, there's no treatment for this. There's no cure for this. Like, I'm just stuck with this, or I have to take, this really harsh medicine to deal with this. And obviously, I'm not giving medical advice at all. That's definitely not my point. I'm just planting, seeds of what's possible. But whenever that happens to me, I really do have this belief that I'm evolving. If I get sick, again, best case scenario, something's happening for my best case scenario. If I get sick, if I have a pain and like something's moving through me, hell yeah, heaven yeah. That's great. Let something move through me. I don't have this idea. I don't get attached to it. I don't grab onto it like, what are you? What is this? Like, oh my God, something's wrong with me. No, absolutely not. I'm not doing that. Hell no, that's insane. Can you see how that's actually kind of crazy? It's like, I'm activating my DNA. Something's moving through me. I'm moving density through me. My body's healing itself. It's all good. Maybe I need to take this supplement. Maybe I need to do this stretch. Maybe I need to breathe deeper. Maybe I need to drink more good water. Maybe it's a sign. Maybe I need to change something. Maybe something in my environment isn't good for me anymore. That's all it is. And because I have that belief, I think that's why I'm always so healthy. It's like, it's just that belief. It's like I've, and I don't even know if it's a belief, because I feel like that's actually just the truth. A lot of times when we say reprogramming, I feel like it's more like it's not that we want to switch out a program for another program. It's more like just coming back and releasing the program and coming back into the truth. And the truth is that we are infinite. We are God incarnated. We're not separate from God. God wants us to thrive. God wants to see, we want to see what we're going to do with these opportunities. We want to see what we're going to do, and we, really want to evolve and expand. And I think because that's the most fun, that's the fun thing to do. To me, it's the fun thing to do. So yeah, I think that's helped me a lot, because when I do have pain, it moves through me so fast. It really does. And I'm not afraid of the pain. That's the thing about the pain. Again, whether it's physical or mental, people want to like hide from the pain and push it down. When I feel pain, I learned that from Alan Watts. It's like, go right into the pain. Go right into it. Just dive like right into it head first. It sounds crazy, but when there's pain, again, whether I have physical pain or emotional pain, dive right into it. Dive right into it. Boom. Don't be afraid of it, because then you're going to make it this weird thing. You're going to turn it into this really weird thing. It's just like dive right into it. And you realize that the pain isn't more powerful than you, and the pain has medicine in it, even, 100%. I mean, that's totally, what I feel, how I live. And again, I think that's so beautiful, because then sometimes, you see people just get really stuck on things. In this energy, you kind of really have to learn how to flow. You don't have to, you might hit a rock, but you don't have to stay stuck there forever. You just, maybe you gotta do a little maneuver, and you just keep flowing into the river of life. Even now, even when I hear, a siren, it's like I set that intention for them, that everything is working out in the best case scenario for them. Just sending that love, sending that intention. Maybe we all send them love. Everything is working out best case scenario. I don't know. It was a fire truck, but I don't know. That's an interesting sound. But yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I want to say for now. I'm surprised. It's amazing I got to say. I didn't want to talk about relationships, but maybe I'll save that for a whole other video, because I think that's also a big one, is your relationships, and realizing that. I'll just share this real quick because this is important, and I want to give you guys everything I can right now. With relationships, remembering that not just with relationships with people, but with everything, like, you actually are the center of your universe. That you actually are the center of your universe. It's not narcissistic to think that. You actually are. Your focal point is from within you. So that's again where people run into these problems, is they try to place their focal point outside of themselves, and then they wonder why they suffer. You try to, if you need, how to say this, you're creating your reality to such a strong degree. I know it's a lot of responsibility, but you're made for this. You're good. Trust yourself. That's why you got to have that deeper love, that deeper self-love, deeper trust with life again. Building trust with life again until you know that everything is always working out for you. It's happening for you. It's not working against you. When things, it's like things working against you is that's like a third density program that we don't have to live in anymore. And I don't want to live in it anymore. It's not very fun. I think we've had enough. That's the message I get about that a lot, is that, we've had enough of that. Oh, here comes another one. But your focal point is from within you. So if you're trying to place your focal point within someone else and then get mad when they're not validating your every single move, that's not really fair to them, and it's definitely not fair to you. Your focal point is within you. It's interesting. We all have sovereignty. We're all sovereign beings. Yet at the same time, the way people act and show up around you and the way that you perceive them is always actually, this is when you really remember that this is like a simulation type of thing. They're reflecting back to you in some way or another, whether it's conscious or unconscious. So your perspective is gonna influence how they act a lot more than you think in your reality. So I don't know. I just thought I'd share that little tidbit. I will elaborate on it more maybe in another time, but it's really important to remember. And again, just because what I'm really saying is, like, with the self-love, is like really learning how to love yourself, in a way validate your experience. We are not meant to do this alone. We're meant to have each other. We're not meant to do this all alone, because we're all one. We're all connected. We're so connected. So it's not about isolating yourself from everyone else, all the other yous. But it's recognizing that, like, your focal point is within you. The way that you're experiencing life in God, in this avatar, in this body, in this form, because we're living in form. We're not formless. I mean, we are formless, but we're incarnated in a body, so we have a form that we're responsible for also. I feel like spirituality sometimes gets a little bit too abstract. It forgets that. So you're experiencing it through you. So let that just be a reminder to take your power back. And the things that you want from someone else or from something else, it's just practicing being able to give that to yourself and feel that in yourself. And then it can naturally mirror back to you, because that's just how it's going to work. You want that validation and love from someone, give it to yourself. And that's a muscle too. That's a big thing with the root chakra. Since we're on that theme of the root chakra, is if you're not strong in your root chakra, if you don't feel safe in yourself, if you don't have a sense of self. See, like in the spiritual community, again, there's a lot of talk about losing yourself and dissolving yourself, and that's real. That's true. That's true for um, that's important. Regarding dissolving false selves and the ego and things that are no longer serving us, but also at the same time, again, you have a body, so it's like it's important that you have some sense of identity, and ideally it's an identity that's empowering to you and to others, so that way when you're around people you have boundaries. You got to have boundaries, and boundaries aren't just a means of protection in the sense of standing up for yourself. It is that, but it's also having a sense of self, like this is who I am. This is who I am. So that way when you're like around other people, you don't have to immediately abandon yourself. That's a big thing for a lot of empathic spiritual people that don't have a grounded root chakra and lower chakras. When you get around people and you feel like you can't be yourself, or you feel like you have to shrink down, or you feel like you have to cater to other people, like at the expense of yourself, that's kind of a sign that you're not strong in your sense of self, which is also just as important, is to have that validation, because you don't want to just be totally molded by everybody else, because you have something that is specific for you to bring up in this world, and people might try to test that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with it, especially when you know how to, in a way, protect yourself. So yeah, I think that's it for now. I love you guys so much. I'm holding this I don't know how to say it, Analema wand. Actually, I'm about to charge it in the sun, but I linked it below. I meant to mention it earlier, and this isn't me just like trying to have an ad, but I really love this thing. This is like basically it's this little wand, and you stir it in the water, drinking water or cooking water or whatever, not hot water, but cool water, and it changes the molecular structure of the water into coherent. So if you look it up, you can see what is coherent water. It's basically like as if the water were naturally coming from a spring, how it would be. It's all beautiful fractals and sacred geometry and harmonious, because a lot of the water we drink, it's molecularly, it's very like dissonant and chaotic. So this little tool here is super, super cool. It comes in this little case, and you stir it for a little bit, and it turns the water coherent into like living water, intelligent water. Water is really important. We're mostly water. So when I saw this, I was like, oh yeah, that's mine. I'm immediately buying that. That's so cool. And it really has been a game changer in my health as well. As I was sharing earlier, becoming superhuman. These things are normally really expensive. Like every time I've seen something like this, it's like thousands of dollars. And this one is only like 100 and something. So I was like, I'm getting that. But if that interests you, I actually put the link below. It is like an affiliate link, because I was like, I'm about to tell everyone about this, because this is so cool. I mean, this is just awesome. So I did want to share that as well. Because water is so important. I've been drinking a lot more water. That's another reason I think I was feeling so weird when I was in the American Standard Diet, is I was eating so much and just not drinking enough water. But I was also feeling like the water was not hydrating me. So I was like, I've just been looking for things I can put in the water, like lemon or fruit or herbs, little herbal tinctures, and, this, and make the water feel like it's really, loved, blessing the water, putting that intention into the water. And that's been a huge change for me too. So yeah, oh my gosh. Okay, I still have a lot of things actually I'll share, but I'm going to do that in another video because it's already been an hour and I don't want to say, get to the point where like we're turning into mush. But and my laptop is going to die. Look at that, you guys. I made it through a video without one of my devices dying. That's so incredible. I better get off before like it goes. Oh, Poodle, you want to say bye? My cat really likes you guys. Poodle. But I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Sending you all so much love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for shining your light. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep doing what we're doing. You know, loving ourselves, be gentle with yourself, and pushing past what you think is possible. More love, more joy, more freedom, more loving yourself, more loving others, more seeing the highest potential in yourself, seeing the highest potential in others. What a gift that is to yourself and to others. You know, letting go of these degenerating things, whether it's the degenerating food, the degenerating beliefs, the degenerating stories and thoughts. Take responsibility. We have to. You have to take responsibility. At this point, we live in a point where, you really, that's the thing. That's the thing. To quote Bob Dylan, he who's not busy being born is busy dying. In a way, I feel like that's funny. I don't know why that just came up, but I'm gonna get off here. Hope you all have an amazing day. What else? Yeah, I'm still working on my album. I'm excited. Hopefully, have it done by spring. And thank you all so much for your support in that. I was gonna say one more thing. I don't know. Maybe that was it. Yeah. So much love to you all. All right. Take care, everyone. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Bye, everyone.